Here we go. We're up to 39 now. 40. 41.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll let people come in. Jacob can let the rest of them in. I wanted to introduce, this is Wendy Tietz. She's from Kent State University. Her presentation is Gamify optional online sessions to engage your asynchronous learners. And the description is, optional online sessions, including collaborative, Ultra, Zoom, and other video conferencing tools, can be a great way to engage with your asynchronous learners. Add some competitive games such as Kahoot or Pool Everywhere, and to the mix, and the course becomes more dynamic. In this session, I will share how I conduct optional online sessions and use gamification through Kahoot and Pool Everywhere to engage my online students. This strategy makes the class come alive and creates a strong sense of instructor presence in an asynchronous course. And with that, Wendy, take it away.
Great. Thank you. Okay. So first of all, I am an accounting professor at Kent State. My claim to what I teach intro accounting, and I have between 400 and 600 students a semester, and we deliver that. I deliver that either asynchronously or synchronously, so they can take their pick. So what I'm going to be talking about is, a lot of times we think we can only do fun things when we're in class face-to-face. And of course, when I prepared this proposal, it was way before we ever knew the pandemic would be hitting us. So some of this was kind of nice in retrospect. So this was when I was thinking we had face-to-face classes. So basically, when we have a class, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous, and we have office hours, no one ever comes, right? I mean, I can't tell you how many colleagues I have that say, no one ever comes to my office hours. So what I did, instead of scheduling office hours where I sit there and by myself, or maybe I have a straggler or two come in, I decided that I'm going to go ahead and host weekly optional online sessions. So what I did is, in the syllabus, I said, here's the days that I'm going to be in, and I picked the same day every week and the same time. And I said, here's these optional online sessions. They'll be 30 to 45 minutes in length, and you can come, and if you can't come, they're recorded for later viewing. So the first 10 minutes of this optional online session is a course update, and then we played a game for review. So that's the synchronous piece of this. The asynchronous piece of this is, how do I deal with it with all the people that can't come? Because of course, when we go to a remote learning situation, our students may not be able to join us during class time. So I had to make this suitable for both populations, those that were joining me synchronously and those that would join me later. And as an aside, then after the game, I would stay in the room in Collaborate Ultra, and anyone who had questions could stay after and ask me. My attendance at these was just fabulous. Like out of 600, maybe I had 50, which is still a good number, way more than I would have in online office hours. So what I did is I had these weekly optional online sessions in lieu of office hours. Definitely, I would schedule office hours if someone wanted to see me privately, but I would have like a 10-minute talk at the beginning about where we were, kind of get the pump going and grease the wheels, and then did this review game over the content for that week, and everything was recorded. And now I'm going to talk, I used, just so you know, I use polling system in my class. So we're constantly using quote unquote clickers, but not clickers. It's bring your own device. So, and all those words mean the same thing. I tend to use the word clicker when I'm talking about, you know, answering with Poll Everywhere or something like that. But there's that. And I'm going to today, we're going to play two games today. We're going to do Kahoot, and you may be familiar with it, but maybe there's some things you don't know about it, and then Poll Everywhere. So Kahoot, we'll start with Kahoot. So Kahoot, one of the features, and its main feature, is it's a competition feature. There is no student information collected with Kahoot. So it's just out there, and participation is entirely voluntary. And you can get reports from Kahoot on class performance. The nice thing that Kahoot has done is you can build in lesson slides, and you can add multiple slides. So you can go over something and then ask a question about it. Kahoot is free for 50 students. Of course, that doesn't work for me. So it's $60 or more for more students or more features, which I think is really a bargain when you think about if you have the large classes like I do. The advantages of Kahoot are it's very easy to use. Gamification leads to engagement, and I have an example of that coming up. And it is free for quote unquote normal size classes, and it has an asynchronous and synchronous option, which I think is really important to be able to offer that asynchronous option. I cannot do anything that's only synchronous, and I think that's where almost all faculty are at this stage. We have to be sensitive to say, here's a synchronous option, but here's an asynchronous option, and Kahoot allows me to do that. The disadvantage of Kahoot is there's no way to track students. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to use this for participation credit, probably not going to work real well without jumping through some hoops. And again, big live or synchronous, the students answer questions, not for credit, entirely optional. I use this for exam reviews, and I do get pretty good participation in this, both in the live sessions and then afterwards. So again, you have different plans in Kahoot, and they bill it annually, but the price is $5, $10, or $15 a month. And I go with premium, and I'm happy to do that because I think it's money well spent. I'm happy to reward the company for putting out a product that's so good. And you do get more things if you get a paid plan. And I would encourage you, if you're going to look at this, go free first, but you do get more items as you go. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to play Kahoot, all of us. And I'm going to find my Kahoot game. Okay, and I'm going to bring it over. Okay, so this is when you launch Kahoot. You get to pick. I'm going to do a classic game. I'm going to have the nickname generator, and that's real important to me because I don't want students making up their own nicknames, because sometimes they might not realize it's public and they use their own name, and other times they might make up a mischievous name. So I always use the nickname generator. So we're going to do this, and what you'll have to do is go to Kahoot. Let me get this out of here. Okay, let me get the music up. Okay, so you'll go to www.kahoot.it and put in the PIN code. So I am asking you to participate, play along, see how you do in this competition. Okay. And let me make sure. Okay, there we have some names. Proud Penguins first. So go ahead and go to the Fuzzy Dog, Smooth Bunny, Rational Duck. I love the names, and it's really funny when you have 100 students in here to see all the different names that come up. So yeah, so we'll wait another minute. Diplomatic Cat, cool. Flying Rabbit, okay, great. We've got some good names going. If I do go and you have not yet joined, you can join at any time, because that URL, kahoot.it, and the PIN number will be on upcoming screen. So if you have students start joining later, they can join. Joel, I know who you are. It's not an accounting question, but nor is it marketing. So anyways, okay, so we're gonna get started. Again, if you're not in yet, I wanna wait, I've still got some people coming in. So we'll see how everyone does, and it's not accounting. I just picked some trivia. As I said that, I'm hoping it's not accounting, because I guess I could have picked the wrong thing. We'll see. Okay. Can't believe everyone doesn't want accounting. Okay, let's see. I think we've settled down into our players. Again, you can still join us. here we go. Okay. Which of the following is not a polling system? So pick your answer. Sorry, I had to turn off that music. It was overwhelming me. Okay, so here we have which is not a polling system, and the correct answer was I Poll You. The other ones, Top Hat, Clicker, and Poll Everywhere, are all polling systems. So let's go and see our leaderboard right now. See, we don't have any ties. How fast you answer does have an impact. You do have the ability to turn that off, by the way. You can remove the time here. So Sturdy Snail right now is in the lead. Okay, so let's go on to our next question. Okay, which animal is in the Firefox logo? Okay, so there's a countdown on the screen. Yeah, dear God, this would be hard on a phone. And I do warn my students, well, if you're trying to do the meeting and the thing on the phone, you just have to press the correct color or shape. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, so which animal is in the Firefox logo? Okay, awesome. Red panda. Is the answer, and no one got it, right? Oh, okay. Okay, you chose the wrong answer on purpose. Okay, so no one, the places didn't change because no one got it. So, and good to know that students could have these issues, but I'll tell you how you deal with that later. Okay, so there's the Firefox logo is a red panda. And notice this is a teaching slide. This isn't a quiz question. So yeah, you guys have to try for the right answer. Okay, so this is a teaching slide. So you can do a couple things. You don't stink at this. It's meant to be a little challenging. So let's go on to another one. Okay, which company is older? Well, we go based on what Firefox says. Okay, so which company is older, Apple or Samsung? Okay. Okay. Yes. Well, thank you for the explanation there. Cool. Okay, Samsung is the older company. Here we go. We had a little bit of movement here. Okay, Sturdy Snail is still in the lead, but Flying Rabbit went up 26 places. Okay, and our last, this is an explanation of what we just had. So this is one of those teaching slides. So you can do teaching slides before or after. Samsung was founded as a grocery store in March of 1938. Apple was founded in April of 1976. Okay, and then I think I have one more question here. Or no, we're done. This is it. Here we go. So Lovely Yeti was third. Amiable Gazelle was second. And our winner today was Sturdy Snail. Great. Okay, so we had runners up of Elated Lark and Smooth. I don't know what the rest of that name was. So there we go. So that was Kahoot. And so we could play it live, right? And we saw that we had some issues with internet. We also saw that there was interaction going on in the chat room, and that's part of what's going on here is I'm trying to generate the interaction with the students, and this is the way to do it, especially if that had been accounting. We would be talking about it and questioning what happened. So, and you control the pace of it, so you say when you want to go on to the next one. So there's explanation in between. So even though it's a game, I'm using it for an educational purpose. Now, we did have some problems with people saying my internet's too slow, or, you know, I can't do it on my phone. This is hard to do. So when you go to play this Kahoot in the very beginning, the screen before what you saw, teach means I'm going to do it right now, just like I just did. But assign means I can do it asynchronously. And this is what I do for students. They can do it later. And if you click on assign, you will be able to tell it how long it's going to be available for. If you want the question timer, I'm really sensitive to question timers because not all our students have the same skill set or speed. So I don't use it a lot. Accuracy tends to be enough to distinguish students between each other. Randomized order, answer order, that's always a good one. And then nickname generator. I really love the nickname generator because then no one accidentally reveals themselves with this. So the asynchronous option, which I would not use Kahoot if there wasn't an asynchronous option. Once you say that you want to assign it, you will get this screen and you will get a link. So you can copy the link. This would be the link here. You would copy it and then you could paste it into an email to your students or an announcement or somewhere in your LMS or wherever you house it. I actually put it in my homework system as an optional assignment for no credit. And then once you do, you've got the same questions out there. And if you do want to look for your own purpose later, you can look at an asynchronous Kahoot. I posted one out, http://tiny.cc/qm-Kahoot. And that you will be able to try Kahoot asynchronously, which is kind of fun. The other thing to know about Kahoot is there's thousands and thousands of questions out there. So I have seldom found any questions that I wanted to use just as is, but I can go in and grab questions and then typically edit them. It is very easy to add questions. I added all of those. Those were my own questions. And it just is a really nice way to say, I'm going to play synchronous in this optional online session I have, and then I'm going to set up an asynchronous option so that those that can't make the time or they're having internet slowness. And when I do the asynchronous option, I do not put timers on it so that students aren't disadvantaged and they don't feel bad. But and they can try to beat their score so they can come back and do it. So I think Kahoot is really a fun way. And the thing is, adding it to my optional online session gives students, the competitive students are going to be in there trying it live, and then others can try it throughout the session. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Poll Everywhere. So I picked Poll Everywhere also because I also play with that, and there's a couple of reasons I play with Poll Everywhere. Poll Everywhere has several question types. So it has a competition quiz type, and it has an asynchronous option. And right now, I don't know if it's over, but there was a 90-day free trial for premium plan currently. I have the premium plan on, yeah, I'm going to answer this question about, is there a way to see who took the Kahoot after assigning it, what their score is? No. Kahoot, you don't sign in. You simply take it. It's not meant for assessment purposes. It would be nice in some respects, but on the other hand, no. But what you can do if that's important to you is you can put it in, embedded in a quiz question and say, here, play this. Did you do it? And they can answer kind of self-report. So that's one drawback or advantage with Kahoot as you think about it, because your students can be anonymous and participate and vote with their feet or vote with their hands, right? If you're interested in saying, oh, I want to know how they did or I want to know who did it, then that's a poll everywhere type thing. Poll everywhere is the other one I use because sometimes I want to know, let me go back to the other part of your question, Laura, to see what students are having trouble with. Absolutely, in Kahoot, you can get reports that show you what questions students got wrong the most. So you can look at it from a macro level. You just can't drill down to know which students had trouble. So you can absolutely, in Kahoot, use it as a diagnostic tool for the entire class, not just an individual student, if that makes sense. So, okay, so back to Poll Everywhere. So Poll Everywhere, where this figures in my life is where I want to know who did it and who didn't do it. And again, I can't use a polling tool that doesn't have an asynchronous option and a synchronous option because I teach in both ways. And I think that's the way that most people are going to have to be teaching right now. So Poll Everywhere, advantage, competition feature. You can collect grade information with Poll Everywhere. So Poll Everywhere has extensive reporting. Poll Everywhere integrates easily with PowerPoint. So it's built in, what makes it really easy. When I had to go to Kahoot, it's not a big deal, but you just saw that I had to bring up another window. The disadvantage Poll Everywhere, they had a free promotion going. It is a little pricey. I don't want to ask my students to pay for it, and I have enough students. They have free for so many students, but you don't know who got what. So I think for me, it's $350 a semester. But again, I have the big classes, but I don't want to ask students to pay for it because that's real important to me, that I don't make them pay for anything that they don't have to. You're limited to 40 participants without a paid plan. And another disadvantage I have is there's only one poll at a time with Poll Everywhere. So Poll Everywhere, if I use it in class, in an optional online session to have a competition, and that ends, that's great. And then I can start an asynchronous session for students, but I can't start another synchronous session until I end the asynchronous. So that's maybe a feature of Poll Everywhere. To me, it feels like it's like a limitation, because with Kahoot, you could have multiple Kahoots outstanding. So if you're teaching multiple classes, you could have one Kahoot for one class and another Kahoot for another class. Poll Everywhere, it's one at a time. So just know that. Okay, this is an example of integrating Poll Everywhere. I integrated in PowerPoint because that's what I use the most of. They do have integrations for Google Slide and Apple, whatever Apple's product is. I believe they have an Apple integration as well. So when you integrate Poll Everywhere, you have to install it, and then the first time before you use it, you have, before you use it, you have to sign in. Okay, so Donna's saying they have an institutional license for Poll Everywhere, and it's actually pretty reasonable to cover everyone. Yeah, that's great. We can't seem to decide on one poll system for the university, so we're kind of on our own. They might have a recommended, but the university's not paying for it. But that's great. That would be awesome if you had Poll Everywhere and your institution paid for it. So anyways, so Poll Everywhere, you install it, it's a ribbon item, and then you click to insert an activity. You can insert different things. So when I did, what we're going to do coming up here in a few slides is I'm going to show you a competition I inserted in my PowerPoint. But that's what it looks like when you're adding it to your PowerPoint. And then here's what I did in a recent class. This was actually last summer, so recent's relative. It feels like years ago, right? So what I did is this was a synchronous session, and I wanted to run a competition, and this was executive MBAs, and I thought, I wonder if they're going to think this is goofy. But I offered up the small Kent, the small Black Squirrel, against the Black Squirrel City, right? And I offered up this and said, whoever the winner is today in the competition, I will send you this sticker if you want it. If you don't want it, just don't email me. but you'll need to email me your address if you want it. So there were 10 questions, approximately one from each chapter, and they were similar to ones they might see on the final exam. Okay, so this is an example. So those of you who were waiting for accounting questions, that's great, Doug, yeah. I've got one on my laptop. Those of you who are waiting for accounting questions, here's your chance. Which variance is directly impacted if a worker drops the raw material during production and the raw material must be discarded? So Joel, I'm waiting for the answer. So then this was awesome, but everyone everyone in my class answered direct material quantity variance, which is actually the answer. And then I just wanted to show you, we'll see this because we're going to play it live, assuming everything works well. But this was the leaderboard that day. And you'll see the nicknames are different. Yes, I love the black squirrels. Yeah, and yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do now we're going to have data analytics trivia. So no accounting, but now we've got data analytics. So see the poll up at the top, the URL pollev.com/WTIETZ. This is your opportunity to log in because we are going to have a competition. So we've got, I think I might have 2 questions. I can't remember exactly if I've got 2 questions or 4. So we'll see, right? So go to pollev.com/WTIETZ. Okay, here we go. Okay, cool. So let's go. So you're at the URL at the top, pollev.com/WTIETZ. Which company is the market leader for analytics software as of February 2019, according to Gartner? Okay, so of these, pick which one is the market leader for data analytics software: SAP Analytics, Microsoft Power BI, Tableau, or SAS. Okay, and just the counter is in the lower left corner. There might be a second or 2 lag time, so be sure to get your answer in. We'll see how you do on this. Okay. Yeah, we're coming down. Tick tock, tick tock. I've turned off all my system sound here. So we're getting down to the final seconds here. Okay, let's see where we are. Okay. So the answer is Microsoft Power BI. Power BI is actually surged ahead of the other ones because probably Microsoft bundles it with some of their licenses. Okay, let's try another one here. Oh, leaderboard first. Okay, so in the lead is Can Showy Sunset, followed by Expert Cozy Oasis. You get the idea. So we had 5 people get that one right. Good guess, right? And let's try another one. Okay, what does the BI stand for in Power BI? Okay, so there you go. Business instincts, business intelligence, business inquiry, Microsoft's Bing. Yay, Vicki. So get your answers in. Yeah. Okay. And I'm just kind of reusing some of the things that I've used. And I didn't want to make it super easy because then it would be not a challenge. So we're getting down to the final seconds here. Okay. Here we go. It's business intelligence. Yes, so whenever you see BI, Power BI, business intelligence. Okay, we had a little bit of shift. Oh, look at that. Now we've got a lot of people. So a lot of people rang in right away and actually tied for that. Can show a sunset. You're right on top of everything. Okay, let's do another one here. So you ready? Which of the following refers to the most bites? Yes, faster time, the faster you answer, the more points you get. Okay, so which of the following refers to the most bites? I'll let you make your choice there. Okay. Exabyte, terabyte, petabyte, gigabyte. Okay, we've got another 12 seconds or so. And I always put extra time on these so that there's plenty of time for everyone to get an answer in. Okay, so here we go. The answer is exabyte. 19% of you got it right. Let's see where we are in the standings. Okay, so we've had a little bit of movement shifting around. Can Showy Sunset is still at the top. There is a character limit. I don't know exactly what it is. I can't recall offhand, but I've been able to adapt pretty well to it, and it feels like, just going on memory here, that I have a little more, few more characters in Poll Everywhere, but Poll Everywhere doesn't have the slides in between, so it's kind of a trade-off. Yeah. Oh, yes, you can put pictures in both. You can put pictures both in Kahoot or Poll Everywhere. You teach chemistry, that would be awesome. Yes, you can use pictures as your answers or your questions in both of them. Okay. And then here, I think this is our final question. Which company or software takes credit for inventing pivot tables? Jean, I'll address your question after we get through with this question. Okay, which company or software takes credit for inventing pivot tables? VisiCalc, Lotus 123, Quattro Pro, or Excel? Okay, let's see, we're down to our final 12 seconds or so. This is, what's a pivot table? Oh my gosh, it's, I love pivot tables. It's a way to summarize your data. So if you've got a long list of data, it will combine, say, all your products, and you'll have product A, product B, product C, even though they're all mentioned throughout your data. It'll summarize it into a summary table. Okay, so let's go here. And the answer is Lotus 123. They're the ones that took credit for inventing pivot tables. So Excel just swooped in and took over after that. Okay, so I have a couple questions here. Let me go on. Let's see our leaderboard, and then I am going to track back starting with, yeah, I'm going to track back starting with the ADA question. Okay, so, oh my gosh, we have a new leader, Suburb Volant Ocean, right? And Love Needed Dog, so we have those. So there we are. And I think that, yes, that is my last. Yes, you can change your answer. Okay, I assumed it was locked in after I answered. I think that is an option you can set it in the settings to allow people to change their answers. I believe you control that. Your lucky guest day. Yes, okay. So let me circle back as we can admire our leaderboard here. I'm going to circle back to those questions. I'm going to scroll back up. Are these ADA compliant? I would say probably not, but here's the thing, because with ADA, my understanding is we want to provide a comparable experience. So what I do is, first of all, these are never for grades, right? So it's meant as a review. So I have a couple of different things. I have, number one, we have a synchronous section that's recorded where I read each question and each answer. So that's being read. I read the answer, I describe it. So if you were unable to see, you would be able to hear me going through that. I'm not well versed on the can we try them asynchronously, but I also have all the questions in a Word document that I can share at the drop of a hat if someone wants them. So I make sure I have it available, but I do make sure I read it during the competition, during the reading, and this is never for grades. And here, you know, if someone in my executive MBA class wanted the sticker, they would send me their email address if they won. And then I always tell people that if you felt you did really well, you can let me know and I'll send you one too. So I do make it so that someone feels like they did that. Okay, so that's my ADA compliant answer. So I've tried to do different things to kind of address it from several angles, because all by itself, no, but while you do a multi-layered approach. Okay, can students write responses and answers to questions? In Poll Everywhere, yes, there are question types where you have short answer, you have long answer, you have ranked order, you have a variety of question and answer types in Poll Everywhere itself. In competitions, you can only use multiple choice questions. So if you're doing a competition, it does have to be objective multiple choice questions. Okay, so yes, great. A pivot table is a report view of data. Yeah, summarized ways, and you can change your answer. Lucky guest day, Heather. Yes, and I enjoyed your session, Heather, as well, on the Word document accessibility. Okay, let's see. Can it be a select all type question? No, I believe it can only be one answer, but I could be wrong. I wouldn't stake my career on that. I think it's only one answer. I don't know. Okay, let me go here to the next Poll Everywhere, just looking at cost. If your institution doesn't purchase it for you, you can have, I guess it's 40 maximum audience size. Yeah. So, and you can get around that somewhat by saying all of the above or A and B. So you have some choices. Student pays, I just don't want students paying for it. So individual instructors, that's what I did for this. And again, I wanted to play with it. I do like it. I do like that I can see who attempted it. And so that's a good thing too. Okay. So then best practices. When we're talking about gamifying online. So we have a couple things to unpack here. First of all, kind of abandoned the sit online and wait for people to come to my office hours. Instead, I'm doing these active online sessions that are recorded. But the active online session, the optional online session, you know, they know I have a little agenda at the beginning. They know we have a little game to play. But I always provide an asynchronous option because of bandwidth issues, ADA. We've always got that asynchronous option. And the competitions are not graded because there's really no fair way to do that. In Kahoot, is there an option for multiple answers? I do not know. I'm in accounting. There is one right answer, and that was simply a joke. Joel says, yes, there is. Great. Okay, so Joel is chiming in to say, yes, there's an option for multiple answers. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, Laura, I misinterpreted. There is an option. That's awesome to know. Not helpful in accounting. Because accounting, we know there's one right answer, right? So, but anyway, so best practices, provide an asynchronous option for ADA purposes, low bandwidth. Don't grade competitions. I would never, ever do competition for extra credit points or anything like that, because that's really not fair because of differences in individuals and differences in technology, and we don't know what students have available wherever they may be. Keep your questions fairly short it tends to drag on if the question's really long, and Kahoot and Poll Everywhere do have character limits. Also, if you're doing a competition, it gets really long the more questions you do. So keep that questions under 20, maybe even under 10. And then practice, practice, practice before you do it. My husband has practiced both of these with me extensively, because before I use it with 300 students, I'm going to know how it works before then, before I use it. So that then brings me to my next, to my thing. So just anyone, I think I've been maintaining answering questions. Does anybody have any other questions? Because I've come to the end of what I prepared. 10 minutes. Yes, we have 10 minutes for questions if you have questions. So I'm happy to answer if anybody has, or how's your summer going? Joel, I'm going to call on you, put you on the spot. How do you use Kahoot? You teach marketing, right? Exam review as well. Yes, yes. And, you know, the other thing that I did that was really funny is by one semester I did this, I thought this would be awesome to do every single week, right? There's a lot of fatigue with that. So now I kind of do it every other week, because I was a little overzealous and it got to be drudgery for me as well. So maybe not every week, but, and then it makes students more, I think it's more approachable if you do something like this. Students are more willing to talk with you. I can't wait to try this. I'm tired of sitting in my WebEx room all along. I hear you. I've used Socrative. That's a good one. Does it have an asynchronous option? Does Socrative, just curious if you know. Do you ever do in-class games? I'm hoping again someday we have face-to-face classes again. Yeah, and I teach in a rather unique way, because I have in a normal, regular, before March, I had students in front of me in a large lecture, and then I had students live online at the same time. So we do these kind of things, and they're both doing it simultaneously. And then there was a recorded option. So I tend, whatever I do, I have to do electronically, because I have students attending from wherever they are as well. If it's not graded, are students not motivated to do it? You know, I found at least a third to a half of my students do it voluntarily. And it just comes down to how useful they feel the material is. And so, yeah, so I think if I get a third to a half of 600 students, that's really good odds, because not everybody learns the same way. Not everybody wants to do it. So I put it out there, and they're free to do it if they want. High flex modality, yeah, call it. Yeah, I just have this weird class. Yes, it is fun, and you learn. I agree, and it's nice because with Kahoot, you can put those learning slides in between. And just in the last month or two, they used to only have one slide in between a question, but now you can put more slides, and you can actually put little video lessons in between questions as well. So that gives you a lot of opportunity. And again, not everyone learns the same way, so it's just one more option. And as you layer in those learning experiences, this is one option. Okay, thank you all for the questions. Thank you so much for participating. That's all we have. Okay, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yes, thank you.
Well, great job there, Wendy. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see everyone in the closing session, right?
Yep, we're going to have a new
was in the chat room
game.
you put in? Yes, yes. Okay, great. Okay, well, I'm going to stop sharing now. Okay, here we are. Yes, the closing is a game. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Carl. I'm going to leave now.
Okay, thank you, Wendy.
Okay, bye-bye.
See you later. Good job.
Thanks.
Jacob, you're going to close us out.